Welcome back to Pokémon Y, and welcome to the finale. We've just solved the crisis that was affecting Lumio City. We found Emma in the Essentia suit, and we have invited Dr. Zerosic for some formalities, let's say. He's totally going to get arrested straight after this. But yes, the final chapter, here's looking at you, kid. And given this is the final part, we're going to try and avoid the off-topic bullshit for a little while and actually give a bit of a summary of where we stand on Pokemon X and Y as a whole. So, I think I'll start this one off this time by saying what I said early on in the playthrough, what I said right off the bat, still holds true after replaying the whole thing from start to finish. This is my favourite Pokemon gen. This possibly tied with Gen 2 as a stretch, because I really do like Gen 2 as well. But this game, to me, came about at a time where I was a little bit burnt out on the Pokemon series at that point. Like, I know a lot of people really do like Black and White and Black and White 2, but for me, I'd sort of drifted away a little bit. And now, coming back to Pokemon, now in 3D, now with the completely altered pacing that the experience share provides, this was like the motivation I needed to fall back in love with the series. And that is a very personal thing, and I realise why a lot of people have issues with X and Y, because X and Y do have problems. They are very generous with the Pokemon they give you along the way, including giving you 2 starters, a Lapras if you want it, a Lucario if you want it, and that means that you can very easily overpower yourself. And there is also the fact that the story is a little bit lightweight, and Team Flare, not the most interesting villains of all time, let's be fair. So I can kind of see why people aren't too fond of it compared to earlier gens, but for me personally, it does everything that I want from a Pokemon game. It does it well. It looks good. The soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. Like, it's got that French-inspired music that works really well. It's got a similar sort of music direction to the early Professor Layton games, which, don't worry guys, I'll finish the Curious Village playthrough eventually. I've just been busy. But the world of Kalos, just everything about this game just really works well for me personally, and it's my favourite Pokemon generation. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, good follow-ups too. But for me, Pokemon X and Y, they're great. Chris, having not played this, going through the game, this has been your only experience with it, so I realise you don't have first-hand experience, but have you enjoyed what we've seen of Pokemon Y?
Yeah. It's for me, it's like the main things, like the 3D, obviously, first Pokemon game in 3D, the Mega Evolution's brilliant, Lumiose, quite a nice region.
Lumiose is the worst part of the region, but Kalos, yeah. So, yeah, all happy with what you've seen then, I take it?
Yeah, basically.
Good stuff. Stephen, opinions on Pokemon X and Y?
I really enjoyed it the first time I played through it because of the novelty of being in 3D. I absolutely adored that. I was pretty much on board with it from the moment I found out it was 3D. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it's 3D.
I remember when we first found out about that. We were actually in school, like, meant to be doing IT work, and we watched all the updates that come out from the Direct.
It was a great time finding all these bits out. But yeah, I did really enjoy it at the time. It's like having had time to mull it over and that. I do think that it's like I agree with the fact that it does feel quite lacking in the post-game personally. It's like there's not that many legendaries to get a hold of, sadly. I mean, I'm not saying I wanted more new legendaries, but perhaps a couple of the old ones being here or there across the region. I definitely feel that having all 3 legendary birds should have given you access to Lugia. That felt like a tease that they never followed through with.
If they did that, I would have liked them to have let you get all 3 birds on one save file, though, because you know how Pokemon works. They would have tried to persuade you to trade them all across, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but thing is, though, with Black and White 2, they you need to trade for Tornadus or Thunderous to then get hold of Landorus, so it wouldn't have surprised me.
Yeah, that's what I would have been worried about, doing that again.
But the thing is, though, with the GTS, which superb system, sadly has not returned ever again, because for some reason Game Freak doesn't like good ideas.
The GTS was great. I would have loved to have got myself a level 1 Arceus in exchange for my P-Dove.
But no, the thing is, though, GTS is actually pretty reliable. I mean,
it got better, didn't it?
The number of legendaries I've gotten from it, because I would just trade something fairly decent for something better, and then trade that for a Suicune, then set up the Suicune for a trade for something really good, and it always worked.
You like trading up, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like, I remember reading a story a while back about actually a guy who traded a stapler for something and then got higher and higher, and eventually he got a car out of it.
That's brilliant.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, it's like I love the GTS. It's like I like the region. Bit simple for me with the whole circular movement of it. Definitely wish it was a bit better than that. I do like how Sword and Shield's region is. I think the way the movement around that is fairly decent. It is linear, but at least the shape of the region is interesting.
It's the UK upside down, yeah.
Essentially. It's like, visually, it's fine. It was good for the 3DS. I liked all of the new Pokemon. I love Mega Evolution. I think that was a superb idea. It wasn't perfect, but I felt it could be improved upon.
Yeah, I think just adding more Mega Pokemon would have neutralised it and made it more appealing over time.
It's like, I think they should have spread the Mega Evolutions out across all of the regions instead of showing favouritism for certain ones. Gen 1, definitely. Gen 1 was the favourite in X and Y, but then Gen 3 got loads of them because it was a Gen 3 remake, so that made sense. So you could let that pass.
It sort of evened itself out halfway through the generation, didn't it?
Gen 5 definitely needed more Mega Evolutions than just Ordino. What did Ordino do to deserve a Mega Evolution?
Like, if you think of all the Pokemon that were brought in Gen 5, like, Ordino's not the first that's going to come to mind.
The one that you would go back to get a slight XP boost.
Yeah, I have a lot of memories of killing this thing. Let's say a special form of it.
But, yeah, it's like... Yeah, all in all, I do really like X and Y. It did feel a little bit lacking in some areas, but the features it brought along, I adored. And then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire built on top of that. And I personally think Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are the peak of the series, in my opinion.
That is very fair.
Yes, it lacks the battle frontier, and I can understand people being annoyed by that. I absolutely understand that. And yes, Rayquaza is ridiculously overpowered, as well as Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre. But regardless of those nitpicks, and yes, I think lacking the battle frontier is quite a discrepancy. I think overall it is the high point of the series.
I honestly do respect that. Because
I think the post game does exist in that game, because you've got almost every legendary to obtain in that game, excluding the ones that show up in X and Y. But they kind of expect you to have had X and Y, so it's like, what's the point in throwing in the ones from there when that's like the newest gen? You're going to expect them to have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my opinion.
That is fair. Right, what we've got going on here, just to wrap us up the final chapter of the Looker Sidequest postgame, we've just had our honestly quite touching send-off. Although, I've made fun about Looker being really lenient on Xerasig, I do like the fact that Emma and 06 did get that kind of final send-off, given they had become friends and been working together. And like, I know it is really exaggerated for fantasy, but sometimes I get the feels, and I can I can suspend my disbelief for that, which maybe it is a little bit cliche having the characters who are not meant to be friends being friends, but sometimes I just want to have the heartstrings pulled a little bit, and I can say that without any hesitation. But we do have one more thing to show off in this game, just one more thing left, and that is if you come back to the Looker Bureau on a Tuesday, Thursday or Saturday, then you will be able to have a rematch. So I'm going to get myself prepared for that, because we've made a lot of friends along the way on this playthrough. We found a lot of Pokemon, and we're also trying to kill some time until we get there. So my team overall, I have used some Pokemon that don't naturally show up in X and Y. I used the Metagross that I got from the Omega Ruby pre-order. I've used Pokemon that I've traded in from other games, like the Dragonite that I got from the card that I bought pre-owned, which is a bit of a cheap move, but I love Dragonite. I'm glad I got to use him. I have the Charizard, I have the Blastoise, Raichu, and Lucario. I am really happy with this team. I've got some of my favourite Pokemon in there. But if we talk to Emma in her expansion suit here, I think we've got one more battle in us, do you reckon?
Well, we don't have a choice because it's pre-recorded, so I mean, I could walk out at this moment.
Nah, but I will say this: you're really not missing.
You can actually see her face.
This one, I will say, you're not really missing much if you don't come to this, because she does only have 2 Pokemon, and we're gonna fucking win. Yeah. Metagross is gonna completely annihilate the Crobat here for obvious reasons.
Well done, your Crobat. You have a Crobat, but I don't think the power of friendship is going to save you in this occasion when you're up against a supercomputer.
Yeah, that doesn't have sturdy, it just got very lucky. Well, to be fair, she does have a high level team, so I can appreciate that at least. I kind of wish she had a full team of 6 though, just for the sake of the fact this being a bonus battle.
She doesn't even have any gym badges. That Crobat should be disobeying her.
Well, I mean, it depends where she got it, really, doesn't it? But yes, for one final time, the most important Pokemon in the entire series. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Charizard.
Where? Oh, haven't seen him in years.
It's fine, look what I'm transforming him into. My favourite, Mega Charizard X.
Better than Dynamax and Gigantamax.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to quickly say, Dynamax and Gigantamax are absolute wastes of time.
Yeah.
I despise them with every fibre of my being.
But my Charizard leveled up to 86, so I'm surely, I have nothing in my way now. But like I say, I'm really happy with this team. And I'm so happy we got to show off this game, so I want to thank you guys for joining me for this, humouring me as you always do. Hope you guys enjoyed going through this as much as I have, and I hope everyone watching has too. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been Pokemon Y, and we will see you next time for another playthrough. Bye bye for now.